आप में से कितने लोगों ने गुजरात जो टूरिज्म का जो एड है जहाँ पर अमिताभ बच्चन आते हैं और कहते हैं पधारो मेरे देश, और जो वाला एड देखा है जहाँ पर अमिताभ जी, नहीं वो
कुछ दिन तो गुजारो गुजरात में,
कुछ दिन तो गुजारो गुजरात में, आप लोगों ने कितने लोगों ने देखा है, हाथ उठाएं. So the whole idea was conceptualized by Mitra ji when he was the tourism secretary of Gujarat. So applaud to him. So before I go even about this BFSI, which we will discuss for next 3 days anyway, सर मैं आपसे कुछ और पूछता हूँ कि इस एड कैंपेन का आइडिया सर कैसे आया था, पहले ये बताएं.
Okay, so that's good. We are moving to more pleasant topics, which is a good thing. हमारे एंकर ने बहुत कोशिश की स्माइल करवाने की, which is not easy to make the bankers smile, the finance people. So, and she was quite successful at doing that, putting the energy. So as you asked, this was when Modi ji was the chief minister, and I was appointed as principal secretary tourism of Gujarat way back in 2011 or 2010. And that time Gujarat was basically a tourist destination for religious tourism. And उस समय हमने सोचा, and this was the idea of Mr. Modi as chief minister, that we should get a big celebrity. So Mr. Bachchan was there, and he agreed to do the campaign free of cost. He did not charge. That time he was charging about 2.5 to 3 crore per day. But he agreed to work free of cost, and he did a shooting for 48 days. We made 20 films for Gujarat Tourism without paying anything to him as a fee. And we roped in Piyush Pandey, who is a big name in ad industry, ad world, and Shujit Sarkar, a filmmaker. So a very professional team was set up, and this campaign was created. So this campaign was indeed a game changer in the field of tourism that time. So as you mentioned, it was indeed a turning point for Gujarat as a tourist destination. And aapko Gujarat aana chahiye, ghumna chahiye. You should come to Gir. You should come to Ran Utsav. If you have been to the White Run of Kutch, the entire tent city, that was also created on a PPP model. So Gujarat mein jitna tourism ka development hua hai us samay, the concept was to involve private sector and to create infrastructure with the help of private sector. Government should withdraw from running hotels and resorts, and government should spend money on the advertisement and promoting the destination. So that was the whole idea behind Gujarat Tourism.
Fantastic experience. And मैं आप like today I was having a breakfast with him. So he mentioned some interesting like stories which happened at when this was happening, this shooting was happening. So मैं वो स्टोरी मैं नहीं बताऊंगा, तो वो आप मतलब आप कोई स्टोरी या कोई ऐसा इंसिडेंट especially with Amitabh Bachchan ji, which you wish to, which you are allowed to, let's say, in like public, if you wish to like.
So the first day, we were wanting to shoot in Gir forest. और गिर में उस समय forest department's guest house was the only place to stay. There was no hotel. And when we reached there, Mr. Bachchan was staying there for 3 days in a circuit house room. We took him there, and we discovered that the bed was too short for him, Even the length of the bed was not long enough. So from that day when we shot to the day when the campaign was released, within 4 months, there was so much influx on tourism that it was unbelievable. And then we had a meeting with Mr. Modi and Mr. Bachchan and myself. We were discussing that we never expected so many tourists to come, after the campaign was released. And whether it was the right thing to do or not, whether infrastructure should come first or whether promotion should come first. The same chicken and egg story. And ultimately we realized that the moment the tourists started coming in, the private sector filled in the vacuum with such a great speed that a lot of, tourist resorts came up, a lot of homestays came up, local population was trained. They converted their homes into places to keep the tourists. So within 2-3 years, the land prices increased by about, from that time it was 30,000 rupees a bigha, it became about 20 lakhs a bigha in about 2 years' time. The land prices, everybody rushed in to, to fill the gap. So what we learned was, in any scheme of things, we should not wait for infrastructure to come in first and then do things which are promotional in nature. We have to take big steps and then everything flows in. Similar thing, what happened during demonetization, it was indeed a game changer, whatever people talk about it. So when this sudden big decision was taken by the government, there was such a big opportunity for the digital payment scenario and system to come in. And we saw huge growth in digital payment, world. So governments, whenever they come in, a very slow, what we used to call traditionally, when we were studying, there was a concept called Hindu rate of growth. It was so slow that over years, government will work slowly. So बोलते थे कि सरकार वो है जो सरक के चले, वही सरकार है, ऐसा बोला जाता था when we joined service. The whole concept changed with the leadership which is there presently, and I had the opportunity to work with him for many, many years. For over 2 decades, I was with him, working with him very closely from the time I was district collector, Ahmedabad, in 95, 96, and he was a Karyakarta, to the time when he was chief minister, and continuously working up to the level of additional chief secretary in his government, and subsequently later on also continuing to now. So I have realized that the whole concept of governance is taking big, bold decisions which might have an element of criticism, which might attract debate, public debate, but they become game changers. So if you want to make a paradigm shift in governance, you have to take big decisions, and that was a decision which led to this sudden growth. So the idea of telling you the story is that from a time when there was not even a proper court to house the celebrity in Gir, to the time today. Recently, I went to Gir and there's a hotel there which is offering a room at 1 lakh rupees a night, which is probably the most expensive resort anywhere, jungle resort, anywhere in the world today. And people are buying it, people are going, staying there. So we have all the brands in Gir, just to see the lion. Now big tourists are coming, again another debate came up that time when we were privatizing the Ran Utsav. So before that, government was running these tents, and we want to privatize it. So when we privatize the rates, government rates said, 1,000 rupees types, they were charging these tents, and we were making losses. So when we, through a tender process, privatized, gave it to a private operator, he suddenly hacked up the rates to 7,000 a night, of course, by improving the facilities. And there was a big representation by the local MLA to the chief minister, and I was called. And there was a discussion in which our tourism minister also asked that, tourism should be affordable to people, and therefore these rates are too high, as any politician would ask. And I made a point, I said, we should attract a tourist who is high-paying tourist, because that is the time when he can make contribution to the local economy. And therefore, we should have a resort owner or operator who can charge more and attract such tourists by providing better facilities. Today in Ran Utsav, we have a tent which sells for 50,000 rupees a night. 50,000 a night. And it's not available during the winter month. So we have those kind of tourists coming in. We have foreigners, we have millionaires come, stay there, and they buy handicrafts. The rates have increased. The local population has become flushed with money, literally flushed with money, because population is the density is very low. So the whole concept is that as demonetization happened as a game changer, we have to, as banking sector, we have to look at it as an opportunity to have a shift in technology, have a shift in the mindset. Instead of keep opening new branches, have a system of leveraging onto the existing systems. That is what we need to work on. So some of these points are there as and when we discuss, we will talk about it.